Hi yogis, welcome to your yin practice. So today for your practice you're going to need a couple of props, and like always they don't have to be yoga specific props, but you will need either a bolster or a pillow, a block or a big sturdy book, and a strap. And this can be like a belt or a dressing gown strap. If you do have a yoga strap, that's wonderful. If it is a strap that can be done up into a loop, that's also great. But if not, it absolutely doesn't matter. So press pause, go and get the props that you need, and I'll meet you back here on your mat. Setting yourself up, you're going to take your block or your sturdy book behind you lengthways down the mat and pop your pillow onto it. So it props up the back of the pillow a little like mine. Come on down and sit in front of the pillow. Hug it into your sacrum, so your low back. Recline onto the pillow. The length of the pillow runs down the length of the spine, and you can use a big blanket and roll that up, and that might be a bit better than a kind of soft bed pillow. And then your feet are your choice. Offering soles of feet together, knees wide, and you might like that, but if that is too much for your low back, if it creates any pain, take the feet as wide as the mat and knock them inwards towards each other instead. That should be a really nice alternative. Some of you might even prefer legs long down the mat. You choose. Take a few final adjustments and then settle into the shape, closing down the eyes. You can begin to lean into the natural rhythm of your breath. You will notice, of course, the rise and fall of your belly, your chest, the movement your body makes to accommodate each and every breath. Try and soften and relax here. Just letting the body do the work for you. Notice the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. Holding the weight of your awareness in the palms of your hands. Feeling every little morsel of sensation. Take about 5 more breaths here. Long and deep. Broad and full. Last breath here, long breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Take your palms down onto the ground either side of you. Tone through your low belly, pressing into your hands, chin to chest first, and then press on up to a seat. As you get there, take your hands to your ankles, slip your heels a little further forward so the body is in a broad, wide diamond shape. Take a breath in, sit tall. As you exhale, Begin to fold forward. Just let the arms rest over the lower leg. Let your head be heavy. You can use the weight of the head and gravity to sink you deeper into this shape. If you're someone who likes to be propped up, you're welcome to take your pillow or your book in front of you and rest your forehead on that, but you do not have to. And just like the focus of the breath was across the front of the body when you were reclined, now allow the focus of your breath to spread across your back body, particularly aware of the space between the shoulder blades, a broadening of that space with the breath in, a narrowing with the breath out. And you should find that every exhale will open some space for you to sink deeper, to fold deeper into. Please no pushing or pulling, just gravity and weight. Being patient with your body. And the more patient you are, really I think the greater the gift that you will receive. Find some more time here. Take another 4 or so breaths. Last breath in. Part the lips, allow the exhale to slip from the mouth. Base of your exhale, belly tones. The breath in, vertebra by vertebra, restack your spine. Crown of head will lift, shoulders will drop from the ears. And just pause there. Chin drops to your chest. Blink open the eyes. And you can lift the head and lift the gaze. Take your legs wide as feels comfortable. If you find your pelvis is very far tilting back, you can prop up and sit on a blanket or a roll of towel or even your book just to elevate through the hips. And then take your pillow in front of you and probably your book or your block as well, stacked on top of each other. So you will be folding forwards here, but there's a few variations. For most people, the fold forward in this wide leg, you won't be able to get very far. So if you can, and you can drop belly and forehead all the way down onto your pillow, please do so. And if you can't, you can always take elbows to your pillow and then forehead will cup into your hands so you can relax the head. If that's still too strong and deep for you, you can take your book underneath your pillow and elevate it up a touch like this, or you can also bring your pillow up and kind of bend it in towards you, wrap your hands around it and rest the forehead to the top of the pillow. So there's a number of different options here, but do take something. I want you to have some support for the chest and for the head. Allow toes just to fall wherever they fall. Maybe there's a slight internal rotation through the thigh bone, or maybe external. Let the belly be soft.
You will feel this both down the back of your legs and through the inner seam of the legs. If you find that it's too strong, you're also welcome. Bend in the knee, and maybe you slip a pillow or a towel underneath each knee, creating a bit of a bend into the knee and supporting that. That will remove some of the intensity for you here. Resist the temptation once you've found your shape to shift and to shuffle. And instead, just sit with whatever is coming up, whatever is presenting itself. You can lean in towards the deep feelings, physical and maybe more. If you're someone who finds this posture challenging, that kind of mind chatter might be coming up, just quieten it down with a focus on your breath. You'll be here for about 1 more minute. So any final adjustments you need to make, any ability to come deeper or requirement to prop up, you can take it. Final 3 breaths. Big breath in. And part the lips, exhale. Base of exhale, low belly tones. For the breath in, to stack the spine, to raise on up. Spin your chest towards your right foot. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, start to fold down the length of your right leg. You'll find your left thigh starts to roll in a touch, and your left sit bones might even lift up off the mat. That is absolutely okay. You can grab your pillow and either take it down the inside of the right leg, or you might even cross it over the top of the right thigh. Again, forehead cups into your hands, elbows to pillow. You're not here very long. Probably you will feel this down the back of the right leg. But also, because there's some twist here in the torso, you should be able to feel something into the left side body, the left rib cage. Not so much the waistline, more the rib cage. Maybe the back of the hips, perhaps that QL muscle which runs from the low rib to the back of the hip. Just 5 more breaths here, as I said, super short hold. The last one here. Belly draws in as you lift on up. If it's not there already, pop your pillow over your right thigh and hug it in towards the hip. And then spin your chest towards your left foot. Take your right elbow on top of your pillow, but keep your chest spinning towards the left foot as you take a side bend, cupping the right temple into those fingertips. Lift the left arm towards the ceiling so you can feel a length through that left side. And then you're welcome to reach your left arm overhead towards the right toes, or even bend the elbow and cup the back of the head, sending the elbow more towards the ceiling. If you feel some pinching into the right side body, you might like to just readjust your position a touch so you don't. I want you to feel this down the left side body, so between the ribs and also from low rib to top of hip in the waistline. And just like the previous variation, you're not here for long at all. Using your breath to expand the spaces. Five more breaths here. Last breath here. Belly hugs as you raise on up. Let's rest your hands down by your side for a moment. Close down the eyes. Notice if there are differences of sensation, right side to left side of body, an imbalance. And then slipping your bolster either across your left leg or down the inner seam of your left leg. Spin your chest towards your left foot. You can let that right femur bone, thigh bone internally rotate here, rolling the hip forward and lifting the sit bone a touch as you fold down the length of your left leg. And again, perhaps forearms to pillow, forehead down, maybe elbows and forehead cupping into the hands. Have a play around here. So predominantly the sensation is the back of your left leg and the right rib cage. You may find one side you can sink deeper than the other. It's quite normal. And depending on what you do day to day, how it is that you live in your body, the effects of that will show up in our yoga practices and on our yoga mat. There's a beautiful saying that our body is our biography, and I love that. It's so true. Our stories are written through our tissues and on our skin and everywhere. It doesn't mean that we have to be bound and stuck by these. We can change our stories that go forward into the future, how we treat our body or how we practice to recover our body. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And base of next exhale, hug the belly in. Use the inhale to raise you up. Taking your pillow across the left thigh, hugging it right in towards the hip. And then sending your chest towards your right foot, left elbow to pillow or over the side of the pillow, depending. Right arm to the ceiling. Rest the left temple in the fingertips. Reach the right fingers high to lengthen the side body. And then take that right arm either overhead, or my preference would be a bend in the elbow, cupping the head behind the hand. You can even interlace the left hand to right. Just hold the head in place through the interlace of the fingers. Any little readjustments you need to make this comfortable, please do so. You're here for, again, just a minute or so. Expanding between the ribs for breath in. Maintaining some space even with the breath out. About 5 more breaths here. Last one here. Wrapping the belly. Inhale to rise on up. Arms will drop down by your side. Close down the eyes. Just pause. And blinking, open the eyes. Moving your pillow to the side of the mat. You're not done with that now, more or less. And take your hands underneath your knees and use the support of your hands to rebend the legs. They might be a little stiff. Bring the feet together, soles of feet to mat. Take your hands over the front of your shins. Lift tall here, breath in. Stay for your exhale, press your feet into the mat, drop the shoulders from the ears. Blink open the eyes.
Take your right foot towards your left hip. The knee will be bent. Take your left leg over the top of the right, so you're sat down between the heels. In Yin, we call this shape shoelace. You might know it more as cow face or Gombokasana. If this is too much for your hips, and it is quite strong, you're welcome to grab your book or your pillow and sit up on top of it. By sitting up off the mat, you create some more space for the hip flexors, and it's a little more forgiving. If it's still not okay for you, just a simple cross leg with your left leg in front of your right is the alternative here. So choose which variation works and where you can be still in. Take your hands down towards your feet. Close down your eyes and sit tall through the crown of the head. Allow the hips to arrive and to settle. Breathe deeply into the belly. The steadier you make your breath, the greater the potential for release in the hips. We're working deep, deep into the tissues, a little even into the joints. And they need to feel safe to respond. So if you find you're fighting with this shape, just back off. Elevate the hips or cross the legs instead. Some of you will stay upright here. It's a really nice place to be. Others will start to fold forward. You might walk your hands forward, rest them down to the ground. Rest your forehead to your top left knee. If you want to fold forward but you like support, you can also grab your block and take that onto your left knee and then rest your forehead onto the book or onto the block. I really like this variation. The weight of the forehead through the block presses gently down onto that top knee, which will in turn increase some sensation into the hips, but just by using gravity and the weight of the head. No pushing, no pulling, no effort of any kind other than the effort that is required to be still. You're here in this posture for approximately 2 more minutes. Final breaths here. Breath in, eyes will stay closed, but you're in your fold, raise up out of it. Keep the legs as they are for another 2 breaths while you sit up tall. And 1 more breath. Blinking, open the eyes. Lean back into your palms and release your legs. Take the soles of feet not quite as wide as the mat. Take a breath in. Loosely, a little like windscreen wipers, knees to the right, head to the left. Left sit bones will lift. Inhale up and through center. Exhale over towards the left. Inhale center. Exhale right. One more, inhale center. Exhale left to center. Left leg is on the bottom, right leg is on top. Again, onto your book or your pillow. And again, simple cross leg with your right leg crossed in front of your left if this shoelace shape is not okay for your body. Take a few moments to readjust, to shift and shuffle. And then when it feels okay, close the eyes, hands to the feet. Let the shoulders drop from the ears. You can either stay upright or you might enjoy that forward fold, props or no props. Settling into the stillness of the shape. And bringing the awareness deep into the hips. Identifying the points in your body of greatest sensation. And then noticing how it dissipates from that point. As it runs away from the deep hip, maybe down the legs, maybe across the low back. Sitting quietly just with your breath for this final minute or so here. Final few breaths.
keeping the legs, but if you're folded, raising up out of the fold, eyes will stay closed. Leaning back into your sit bones, palms to the ground as you unravel your legs, and once more, soles of feet to the mat, nearly as wide as the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, knees to the left, perhaps even head to the right. Into center. Knees right, head left. Center. Once more each side to the left. And center. And over towards the right. And center. Right. Grabbing onto your strap or your belt and come on down to the back of your body. As you're lying on the back of your body, keep the sole of your left foot down to the mat. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Take the strap and loop it over the ball of your right foot. So you want to miss out the arch of the foot. It can be tender and go for the ball of the foot, so the base of the toes. And then keep the shoulders resting down on the ground. They're heavy. The neck is long and the head is also heavy. Begin to send your right heel to the ceiling. Toes will draw back a little to your face. And then start to use the weight of your arms to pull on the strap and draw that right leg closer to the chest. If you're feeling a lot in the back of the knee, I highly recommend a little bend in the knees so you can feel this more in the back of the thigh, or the belly of the muscles. And those of you who like more, you're welcome to slip your left leg long down your yoga mat. You can relax that leg. If that gets a bit uncomfortable holding the strap or the belt into the hands, you can also just loop it around and use the weight of the arms. And another thing you can do as well, you can just loop it around the forearm and use the weight of the forearms. Those of you who have a belt that can be buckled up, you can make a loop. And then once you have your loop, watching out for the buckle space, you can gently lift the head and loop the strap around the base of the skull. So there's no contact with my neck and the strap. It's absolutely around that bony ridge, base of skull, and then over where the top of the ears run. I can let my head go, and the weight of my head here will support the leg. The head is not resting on the ground. It is hanging up in space. This is actually a really nice release for the back of the neck as well. So if you're lucky enough to have a strap that does up in a full circle, that is sturdy, that your head is not going to slip out of, then you can go ahead and take this posture. It's really good. Otherwise, of course, head down, hands to the strap. Of course, it's pretty obvious working into the right hamstrings here. Common part of the body to experience tightness and also often weakness. It's not uncommon if you do have problems with tight, sticky hamstrings. Sometimes that can manifest in pain in the knee and also pain across the low back. It's by nature where or what parts of the body the hamstrings are connected to. You can kind of tug on the pelvis and tug around the knee joint. So taking some time to stretch them out can be really beneficial for many parts of your body. About another 5 or so breaths here. Begin to back off a little bit by taking some bend into that right knee. Carefully release the strap from the ball of the right foot and send your right leg long down the mat next to your left. Just take a moment when you get there, laying on your back and just noticing the difference between the legs, the right and the left. And when you're ready, take a bend into your right leg's sole of foot to mat. Take a bend in your left knee to chest as you loop the strap over the ball of your left foot and send your left leg up to the ceiling. Readjusting the position of the strap and the position of your hands for optimal comfort. Of course, lengthening your right leg long down the mat if that feels good. Trying to localize the sense of stretch into the back of the thigh, not the back of the knee, and certainly no deep tugging sensation back there. Option, of course, base of skull into the strap. And then just close the eyes and breathe deeply into the belly and allow the posture to do the work for you. It's pretty common for the leg to get shaky. If it does, just back off a little bit. You find it should stop. Take a little longer here, a few more breaths. Beginning to back off by bending into that left knee a touch. And unlooping the strap from the foot. Set the strap off to the side. Let your left leg go long down the mat next to your right. Noticing once more the difference, the imbalance between the two legs is now shifted to the other side. Hug both knees in towards the chest. Hands gently wrap the kneecaps. And then keep your knees apart from each other as you slowly rock side to side. So take the rock hip to hip. Let the movement press the sacrum into the mat. Let the pressing of the sacrum into the mat encourage a hydration for these tissues. Well hydrated tissues are more supple. The fascia is less likely to be sticky and even stuck. There's one more breath here. Breath in. As you exhale, let your legs go long down your yoga mat. And take your arms down by your side. Close down your eyes. And as you rest here, just notice all that there is about your body. The weight of the body, the temperature, the sensations under the skin. And just lose yourself in all of that. As you allow the breath to flow naturally and evenly. No effort is required from you here except presence. You are welcome to stay as long as you like. This is your Shavasana.